Hi, I'm Gail and welcome back to Low Carb Recipe Ideas. Today we're going to make some soft, chewy peanut butter cookies, low carb. It's actually a recipe my mom used to bake all the time when we were growing up, and I just converted it into low carb. So I hope you're going to enjoy it as much as we do in this household. So let's get started. So for our low carb peanut butter cookies, I'm going to make up our peanut butter fresh instead of buying it already made up in the store. So I've taken a cup of peanuts. These are salted peanuts, and I'm going to put them in my little Ninja blender here, food processor, and I have 3 tablespoons of xylitol. Now normally if I was just making the peanut butter and eating it as peanut butter, I would have ground up my xylitol to make it more powdery consistency, because I don't like the large granules that it has. And then I'm going to put in a teaspoon of vanilla. So we're going to put the lid on and we're going to blend this together. There we go. So you have to work at it a little bit. You take the lid off a couple times and just check to see what it's doing. It's starting to change its consistency here. So we'll just give it a little stir, and then I'm going to put the lid back on. And you might have to do this a couple of times till you get it the way you want it to be. So we will continue blending it. There we go. Now normally I don't, when I make my peanut butter, I grind up my peanuts all by itself and it turns into like a liquidy peanut butter. But I've added the sugar and everything else, and I just want that consistency there. So now we'll go to our next step. Now I've set the peanut butter aside and we're going to make our almond meal, our almond flour. So I put in 3 cups of almonds, and we're going to grind them up into a meal. So there's 3 cups there. And I buy mine in bulk, my pecans. I like everything as fresh as I possibly can. This time I happen to have them on sale at the superstore, but lots of times I get them at Costco because it's quite reasonable there. There we go. You might have to take some time and remove the lid and check to see if you have it all ground up. So there's my almond meal. So let's put all our ingredients together. So far we've made our peanut butter, we've made our almond flour, our almond meal. So now we're going to put our cookie mixture together. So the first thing we're going to do is I have a 1.5 cups of xylitol, and I have a cup of butter, soft butter. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to blend that all together with the mixer. So we've added the butter and sugar together, and now we're going to add in the peanut butter. And we're going to blend that all together also. And now we're going to add in our 3 cups of almond meal. And a teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of baking powder, and a teaspoon of salt. So we're going to blend that all in, and actually I'll just kind of swish the salt and stuff around in the almond flour. And I have 2 eggs that I've already removed from the shell, so we'll add 2 eggs in, and we're going to blend this all together. We'll mix her up. Now I'm going to add in a 2/3 cup of coconut flour. Just mix this in a little bit. There we go. Now we're going to make them into cookies. So I've got my cookie tray and I have parchment paper on it, and I'm using a tablespoon, and I just kind of would like to measure how much I am going to be putting in each cookie. That way it's just easier to count the carbs and the calculations and everything. So I will continue on filling the cookie tray full of cookies, and then we'll go from there. There we go. Now I've got a little bit of water here in a bowl, and I'm just going to pick them up and I'm just going to roll them into little balls. And then I'm going to press them down with my fingers. I have to correct myself. I think I said I'd press them with my finger. Well, I'm not going to press them with my finger. I've got a little bowl of water and a fork, and I will press them down with the fork. And that just stops them from sticking onto the fork, adding a little bit of water. It comes in quite handy. There we go. So now we're going to put them in the oven at 350 on the middle rack. And we're going to put them in the oven for approximately 12 to 15 minutes. Now the last batch I made was about 15 minutes. So we will put it on for 12, and I'll see what happens. Welcome back, and I've got my cookies all baked. It ended up being 8 dozen cookies for the amount of batter that we made. So here are my great cookies. They're soft and they're chewy, they're really good, and a glass of almond breeze is really good with it instead of using milk, because the almond breeze, the carbs are so low in it. So I hope you go to my blog, lowcarbrecipe.ideas.com, check out my other recipes, and leave some comments and let me know what you think. You take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.